easy troop. In today's video we are going to look at making the modern boom bap type sound beats in FL Studio. Let's go. First things first, I need some drums. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this in FL. We could use the drum designer, for example, and let's maybe see what we've got with that. So if we hit ourselves F8 right here and we type drum pad, drum max, bass drum. Let's see if we can do something with this right off the bat. I'm going to drop it on insert 1 so it's linked up for us. And let's open up the piano roll right here on insert 1. And let's get ourselves a BPM. I'm feeling, I don't know, 80 BPM, flat 80. All right, let's give ourselves something to work with in here. So there'll probably be a beat on each of the one. And let's be honest, this boom bap will probably swing it something like this. Thanks to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. If you want to distribute your music to the major stores, check out the description below and pick up a discount today. All right, let's have all the first ones hit a little harder and the seconds a little less on the old velocity. And let's take the bass drum and tweak that up a little bit. I want it to be nice and punchy. Hit a little hard, have that boom bap feel, right? Something like that feels okay. We might layer it up with a break as we go. Let's try and find ourselves some kind of drum break as well. Let's see what we've got in Splice. Right click on Splice, do Smart Find and type in the word break and see what we've got. We can then use F3 to jump down and hear the break. Kind of feeling that snare. We'll do this, put pattern 1 into our playlist, press L to jump over to our main playlist, and I'm going to bring this break over. It's not in our BPM whatsoever, but it will snap to it, which is beautiful. And what I'm going to do here is just make sure it stretches off up here, and I'm just going to go around the snare like so, just dragging the ends in and just use the snare. And I think we'll play something like that. A little loud, so I'm just going to open up the sampler, take the volume and just dial it back. Now we put the bass drum straight onto 1. Just open up the channel rack here. We can press F2. You can right click on the channel rack, rename and recolor, like green's fine, but I'm just going to recall this snare and then press Command and L, and that's going to drop that right there for us. Now if we just hold Shift and use the mouse wheel, can bring the kick up there, and we've got 3 buses to use. Now we've got a kick snare going. Still way too loud, so let's dial it back even further. Let's get ourselves some kind of dirty hi-hat. I know in hip hop I've got my AD kits. These were free, I'll link the video below. I kind of like that gritty feel. It's a little long, but we can fix that. So we'll right click, open in new channel. And we don't want it to be so long. So we're going to go into here, put the envelope on, just bring the attack all the way down, dial that release back. There you go, that's done the job for us there. Let's make a new pattern here. We can just press F2 and that'll make a new pattern for us. We'll just call that hat, and we can drop that pattern straight in on the timeline here, like so. Double click, open up the piano roll, let's get some hats in. Now I like to turn snap off. So click on snap, go to none, zoom in a bit and make this short and click roughly where I want, but because we've got no snapping, they're going to be a bit wonky, and then give it some variation. Just press L to hear just this pattern. Give it some kind of excitement like this. All right, what we'll do, we'll copy those and get them roughly in the same place again, and we'll maybe have it run 4 times at the end here. Back up, shut up phone, go back to the main playlist. So we've done that over 2 bars. Let's see what that's like. All right, hat is clearly far too loud, dial it back. Just reorder things up if we want. I tend to put that hats and percussion bit to the top like that. Open up the rack. Let's keep ourselves organized like before. Let's rename and recolor. Tap F2 once we're in there just to give us another color. And we're just going to call you hat. Command L, drop that onto the mixer for us, keeping things organized. Maybe we want to make this a little faster. Let's select everything, zoom in by holding Command and just bring those right down, and let's double them up by holding Shift, dragging them over. While everything's selected, if we hold Option or Alt, use the mouse wheel, we can make all of those lower. I kind of like that. Now I think in here, we can maybe get away with some extra kicks. Yeah, like here. Put our snap back on now to sell. Not entirely sure I'm feeling the snare anymore. Let's see what else we've got. Kind of like that. What we can do here is just drag and drop in there. And oh damn, they've all gone way over. What we can do is highlight them all, press S, drag it all, and they'll all be back for us. They sound freaky because for some reason the time stretching's changed. Pop that onto resample. Now they're all really pitched down. Right, just get rid of those. Can maybe try that in here instead. It's really, really long, so I'm not feeling that. What we're going to do is make sure it stretches off, drag it down like so. If it does that, just go S and slide it along. What we're going to do is put a volume automation on it right off the bat. So let's go automate volume, and we're just going to press B and very simply put a little fade in at the end just here. Now I'm going to take that fade, put it below, drag this channel up and link it to it, and now I'll be able to copy that over, and each time it will always fade that off for us, and that automation is just linked into it. Okay, I kind of like this. Let's bring this in. Bring up our mixer. We can just put it back in that snare slot from before, which is just 5. And just copy all those across. Now the thing that will kind of sell this snare is having a reverb for it, right? Now at the moment we don't have any buses or anything set up on the mixer, so let's give ourselves something like that so that it can always be seen, referenced and linked to, really useful to have. So for example, let's select channel 10, go over to our menu just here and do dock 2, and it will dock insert 10 over onto the right hand side for us. And got this little separator here so we can hide them away. Now press F2, give that a color like bright green for example, and we're just going to call it verb. Right, give me my color. Bash F8 and we want a reverb. Now I've got the sunset sound reverb in here, but what we could do is use the ones that are built into FL as well. If we go over to delay and reverb, it will show those just here for us, and Fruity Reverb 2 will be good enough for us in this instance. Now at the moment it won't do anything. If we take the snare here and then we send to this track, it will now go fully to it. way too much. We can use this dial to determine how much is going to it. We've also got things like the controls here. So dry, sending all the dry back through. We just want the effect. So we'll take dry down and bring wet right the way up. And we just need a little bit of that in there. Now my hats that I did purposely loose, they're a little bit too loose. Let's select them all up, go into our menus in the piano roll, and we're going to use a tool called Quantize, and we'll just do quick quantize here. Now that may be too rigid for me, so we'll undo that and we're going to go tools again, and instead we'll use the quantize tool and we can dial it in a little bit more manually. We can adjust our start time, our sensitivities. Our duration, whether or not that is quantized. We can have a template as well. There's some nice ones from MPC. But we can adjust our start times, and we don't want them to be stupid precise on what it was originally. So let's just dial it in a little bit and accept it there to tighten it up a touch. Some of the louder ones are just too loud, so let's dial those back. Now let's have a look at finding a sample to start chopping up. So let's go sample archive, splice, and let's find something that's at 80 BPM. So let's right click 80 BPM in Smart Find and see what we can find. Here's something that might work for us. So let's try dropping that in. And because we chose 80 BPM, it's going to fit for us right off the bat. Up the top here, we can right click and just create ourselves a loop around that. In our channel rack, I'm just going to rename that sample. We can leave it that gold, press Command L, and it will give us a channel for it in the mixer there. Let's look to chop that up. If we press C, we can do slices. And this looks like it's got about 1/4 as its average kind of slicing. I'm just gonna literally make one slice, press B, delete that. I'm now gonna use S, and it gives us the slide tool, and we can slide that. Start on whatever we like. So I can now dial in. So I've extended that loop there. Instead of having that go, we can maybe then maybe we can have that go again, but we can trigger it differently there. Let's move that one to the middle too. Let's drag it all over the second part, loop the second part. Now here's something that's kind of crazy. If we select all of them at once, press S again, so we've got that slip tool, we can drag all of them across and cut something completely different out. All right, so there we go, literally cutting there for like a minute, if that. And we've now gone to this. All right, let's see if we can give ourselves some kind of baseline to it. And the other thing I'm feeling is maybe this would benefit from a real feeling break in the background layered in with these drums. So I'm gonna see if we can find something that kind of suits that. So again, let's go in here and go break and see what we can find. So that's off tempo, but I'm going to layer that behind the break we've put together. And fortunately it snapped to tempo for us. The snares are landing the same point, the kicks aren't necessarily, so we might need to chop it up, but I like that idea a lot. What I'm going to do is just rename it like we have before. So we just get into the channel and we can see it's just there. Rename, let's call it break. And what we'll do, we'll put that on channel 3. So we'll do Command L and we'll bring it back so it's just sat there. So they're all sat together. And now we're going to chop that up so it fits a little better with what we're doing. So we can highlight it so just these guys play. And we use the slice tool. So for example, we want to get rid of that second kick there. So once we've sliced it out, make sure stretch isn't enabled. We can just kind of drag that out. So and we can use this little transition and put that in there. I think that'll fit quite nicely. So we're gonna slice here and slice. Just press B, select that and drag it over here. And we can really play around with the position. So do you know what I'm going to do is right click on this little audio icon just up here. I'm going to choose make unique. It will still send it to the same place, but I can open up a new part, hit reverse. And what I can do is do a little reverse sweep there into the snare like that. Which is fucking sick, right? Now the other thing here, this is just kind of off. We're just going to line this up a little bit. So I'm going to just slice that. Press B. I'm going to hold Command. Ooh. I'm going to hold Option, which should be Alt while I move it, and just manually line it up like that. All right, so that is our new main drum loop. I think that's pretty sick. All right, so let's just get everything back. We'll just double right click on any channel, get it all back in. And I'm going to bring that little reverse sweep we made into that snare there as well. Hopefully that will work. And the little shaker we took, I'm going to put that in this break here and just fill those spaces in just a little bit. So it's ever so slightly different on the second time round with the break. Right at the start where it drops in, I just want a little bit of ear candy. I'm literally just gonna go and smart find a ride. You'll never keep me down. You'll never keep me down. They'll try you, they'll try hard and they'll try you.
Believing that he's an animal, he thinks he has the...
You'll never keep me down, mess me around, boy I'm too proud. Just go to our free kit again. Cymbals are all a little bit aggressive for me. Let's see what else we've got. I kind of like that. It's got sort of a bit of a woo vibe, right? Just have that as like a little indication that we've started. I want that to tail off a little bit quicker. I'm going to right click up here, go to automate, grab a volume, just put a point sort of here and just drag it out so that rolls off a little bit quicker like so. Smooth that out. And I want a little something, can even be a hi-hat. That'll work. Just as like a little reverse here. We'll drop that just in here. Just open up the sampler channel, hit reverse, and just bring that right towards the end here. That's just going to kind of go at the end. And what we'll do, we'll just take the channel here. I want both of these, not too fussed about the names, Command and L, give them mix of tracks. Cool, both super loud, so we'll dial them back on their gain. Yeah, we could 100% gain stage them, but I just like to mix roughly by ear and know that everything's not completely cooked. I'm going to use shift and mouse just to bring this below here. I'm going to put the automation clip below it and then drag it up into itself so it's always linked to it, but not necessarily on top of it, so I can quickly edit it. Okay, let's look to add a relatively simple bass line under all of this. So let's do a new pattern and just click up here and let's just call it sub. And we'll just put sub there, for example. And I tend to use Harmor for this. You can use whatever generates a good sine wave. I use Harmor because it's convenient. So I'm going to drag it and drop it into there. And I can go and grab my preset amongst this complete mess of presets. Go to my basses and my subber. And it's very simply big weighty sub already made for me because convenience. So let's open up that, and what were we in? I think we were in G minor for that sample. So let's make life easy for ourselves. Let's click over here. We're going to go to tools, we're going to go to view, we're going to go to scale highlighting, we are going to go G, and we're going to make sure it's on minor. And then we've got to work out roughly what we've got baseline wise in with our chops and how we want to do it. I think I can sort of hear what I want to do. It'd be something like, now we use the same note over and over in the chops, but I think we can get away with having a little bit of a melody in the sub and make it quite rhythmic. So like something like, and that could literally probably play over and over. don't know if we'll get away with it on the second set of chops, but maybe we will. See how it feels. I feel like it can have a second note in here in this section. So what we'll do is just right click here, make unique. It'll just make a new pattern with that same one. Maybe what we can do is extend that note and have it slide down. So up here we've got these things called slides, and they'll work with something called harmor. And allow it to just slide down at the end in that section there. So let's see how that vibes. Yeah, it's a bit quick. So let's just go to the pattern here and listen to it soloed and see how we are. Maybe if we slide it up an octave, that might actually work. Maybe have that just at the end one. And there we go, guys. That's taken me 30 minutes just to put that idea together, getting some modern boom bap together in FL Studio. Showing you hundreds of little tips and tricks there. I hope it's been really helpful for you. If you'd like to learn more about FL Studio, follow the channel and check out the videos on the screen now. Look forward to hearing your feedback and comments. Take care, and I will see you on the next one.